Hi guys, and welcome to another video on my channel, Football Canapes. And some really big breaking news has come out tonight regarding the Manchester United sale, which has been ongoing for God knows how long. And that's what we are going to discuss today. And we'll see where it takes us because today the news has just and like it just is coming in from all angles, and the news that has broken today is carries a bit more weight because of what happened 2 days ago when there was a lot of activity on New York Stock Exchange. If you don't know that Manchester United, 31% of Manchester United shares are held by New York Stock Exchange. So it was it carried weight 2 days ago, and today I'm not sure if you've seen this or not, but the news first broke that 9-2 Holdings, which is a company that has become a company which has been registered in United Kingdom. It's been registered in London. Unfortunately, I'm not able to show you screenshots because I, I have them, but it just won't be able to show them to you. So the thing is that that company where Sheikh Jassim, who I think is the Emir of Qatar, he is a director there, and that company being registered in UK means quite a bit because that that organization can be used as a vehicle for the takeover of Manchester United, which would be running into, of course, billions of dollars, and that is quite a significant, landmark when it comes to Manchester United sale, takeover, whatever you want to call it. It's been 7 months since the Glazer family put the club up for sale just before the World Cup, and they have been owning the club for around 17, 18 years. 2004 or 2005 was it when they took over Manchester United on debt, actually. So we'll be, of course, discussing that as we move on in this video. But for now, the other piece of news that has just come across is it's and bear in mind it's the Reuters who are reporting this, that Manchester United are negotiating granting exclusivity to Sheikh Jassim, who's the who I, as I said, I think is the Emir of Qatar. Um, by what exclusivity would mean is that both Sheikh Jassim and Manchester United as a club are only dealing with those two parties, and they for that exclusivity period they won't be dealing with anyone else, and and that that I think in that exclusivity period they'll be discussing the price, the finer details, whether talks happen, how far it goes, how far it doesn't go, and then of course due diligence of the club has to be taken place as well. So that's the big news uh, that's just been reported just barely an hour ago by Reuters. Bear in mind, Reuters is an agency which is not like your um, usual English tabloids who just print anything they want to print, and Reuters come with integrity, and whatever they publish is quite that it has quite a lot of weight behind it. So it can't be taken lightly, and of course it's great news for Manchester United fans around the world who must have been sick to death of Glazer family running the club I mean, I'm like, they have spent money. Of course, there's no denying that, and yeah. So, uh, but now the club can go even further. Now maybe uh, the renovation of Old Trafford can take place. And activities at Carrington, which is Manchester United's training ground. Activities can take place over there. So Sheikh Jassim looks like he is the front runner. These two announcements where 92 Holdings has been registered as a company in UK, and Reuters reporting that Manchester United are negotiating exclusivity with Sheikh Jassim for a $6 billion takeover of Qatar is happening. That is quite. I mean, like it's like the moving day when it comes to the club. When it comes to the club, I mean, we'll have to wait and see. This, of course, I will say that this doesn't mean that the takeover will definitely happen. As a Newcastle fan, I have seen where things have gone and then have not materialized to the level you would want them to. So that's one thing to keep in mind, but it does feel like that the days of Glazer family owning the iconic Manchester United club are numbered, and you'll have to wait and see because the due diligence. In actual fact, there are times when due diligence has already taken place, but if it were to take place, it would take a long time because $6 billion is not a small figure, and Manchester United is certainly not a small entity where it's just a few papers to look at. In case of Manchester United, I'm sure there would be a lot of stuff to look at regarding transfers, illegal issues have to be sorted out. So due diligence could take a while, but I don't see due diligence being a problem. Sheikh Jassim, I'm sure, has funds available with him to take care of the matter at hand, even if, and I'm just guessing over here that even if there are any issues involved, and then after the due diligence has taken place, then the Premier League comes into play. They have to uh, they have to certify and give their approval regarding the board of directors, their test. And bear in mind, since the Newcastle United takeover, there have been there has been a lot of scrutiny put in, and you know those things that have to be traversed will be far more difficult for by difficult, I mean there would be things looked at, and the scrutiny will be a lot higher on how this takeover takes place. A lot of questions will be asked because last time last time round I'm by last time round I mean when Newcastle takeover talk was going on, there were a lot of parties who cropped up whatever you want to call it, Amnesty International and Qatar's human right issues might be brought into picture, but for people who who want Glazers gone as soon as possible, it could be a moving day where a lot of things start to make sense. And last couple of days we saw a lot of trading happening in uh, at New York Stock Exchange, where we saw I mean, like Manchester United currently have 50 million. shares on the New York Stock Exchange, and 7 million. So that's about 14% of the shares were traded in on what was it, on Tuesday, I think it was. So this thing, I mean, like, is quite significant, and yeah, so it will play a big role. I mean, like, a lot of people are saying that there's no smoke without fire, and the Manchester United takeover, it looked like, will go ahead. Of course, this period of exclusivity, as Reuters have reported, doesn't mean that the takeover at Manchester United will definitely happen. But there's a, I mean, like, it just, I'm just covering all my bases that it might not happen, but the likelihood is that it will probably happen. Of course, there are other parties as well. When the Glazer family, basically Joel and Avram Glazer, are the two Glazer siblings who run the club on a day-to-day basis. Other four are a bit, not a bit, but like quite a bit hand-offish. They are just interested in money, I think, and so in November, when it was put up for sale, um, they said that they would be looking at parties who want to invest in Manchester United apart from the full sale of the club, and and um, and in the period where there were how do I put it, when there were deadlines for bids to be put in, there were there were parties who bid, who wanted to invest in Manchester United. Um, Carlyle Group, I remember, was one group who wanted to invest. Their name was cropping up from time to time. Of course, how can we forget Sir Jim Ratcliffe, who until a week or 10 days ago was the favorite with the English newspapers, tabloids, etc., that he'll be the one who will be taking over the club. He, of course, wanted, um, he wanted, uh, he kind of bid where the Glazers could stay at the club, but so he, in that case, the debt that Manchester United had, which is around 1 million. I'm not sure whether it's pounds or dollars, where it is coming from. That debt would have stayed. There would have been money. There might not have been money which would which was needed to bring Old Trafford to. If you don't know that, the the uh, the stadium that Manchester United have is crumbling right before our eyes. It is not up to the standard that it should be. So that's that, I think, with the, if the Qatari takeover happens, I think that would be well taken care of. And if Sir Jim Ratcliffe had come in, who owns French club Nice, OGC Nice, he owns in south of France, very close to Monaco, and he he if he had come in, then perhaps the picture might not have been as rosy as it looks now. Of course, Qatar hosted the World Cup not too long ago, 6 months ago, which Argentina won. So, I mean, in terms of hosting, etc., there was a lot of good publicity for Qatar, where they where they did, of course, they did really well, but in terms of their own team, Qatar national team performing, they went up to the scratch. They went out without getting a point. They lost all three of their games against Netherlands, Senegal, and Ecuador. First game they lost 2-0 to Ecuador. Antonio Valencia, not Antonio, Ana Valencia scoring two goals for Ecuador, and yeah, so enough of Qatar national football team. But yeah, coming back to Manchester United, so a few days ago, it looked like Sir Jim Ratcliffe would be the owner that gets his hands on Manchester United. He was willing to do everything. He bid in. He had, of course, put in a bid for Chelsea when they were up for sale last year, but it wasn't to be. So, I mean, last Wednesday, we saw that Sheikh Jassim had put in a fifth bid for Manchester United, and it was like uh, take it or leave it bid, and it looks like that the Glazer family have from the signs that we are getting that the Glazer family have accepted that bid from Sheikh Jassim in terms of monetary value and how it has been structured. So So, great news for Manchester United once again. They can go out, spend money. Of course, they are one of the best clubs. The commercial revenue that they generate is, of course, second to almost none. Almost everyone in England, certainly, they don't generate as much money as Manchester United. Their shirt sponsorship with TeamViewer, which might change in the coming in the coming um, in the coming months and years. It might We might see a Middle Eastern sponsorship for Manchester United. So it's I mean, like, whether you like it or you don't like it, it's great time to be a Manchester United fan. They of course have been crying out for Blazers to get out, but Blazers have dug their heels in, and you know they have wanted their share of the pie. And from their point of view, if you look at it from their point of view, I mean, my God, have they made money? And like by the tons, I think they have made money by the tons. And I mean, consider this: their father, Malcolm Glazer, bought the club on debt, right? Manchester United have been paying interest on that debt for God knows how long, and then they have been taking dividends out from the club for for as long as I can remember them being there. So every year they take dividends out in January, or maybe twice a year. I'm not too sure, but certainly in January. And then they use club money to and fro for club work. Even this year, I was reading somewhere that Joel or Avram Glazer, you know, they traveled from United States to watch Manchester United men's and women's team at Wembley, and that set the club back by $250,000 or pounds. So I mean, like, and given that there is the price that is being quoted is around 6 billion for Manchester United. So they, I mean, the each of the siblings will get around £1 billion or $1 billion each, and that is, I mean, some dough for I mean, like and they haven't done anything, and they are just raking in money. I mean, it's. I mean, like I mean, they haven't even had to work hard for this money that they'll be getting. It just their father did all the grunt work, or I mean, like however he managed to buy Manchester United. It was I mean, like call it opportunistic, call it sly, or call it whatever you want to call it. Um, they own the club, biggest club in the world, perhaps some would argue. And yeah, so only negative side I can think of is as a Newcastle fan, that now the fans of other clubs would say that you are run by a state. I'm like Manchester City has been run by a state. UAE, of course, Abu Dhabi has been owning the club, the blue half, the club in the blue half of Manchester. So, I mean, of course, on Newcastle, I've already mentioned, and Qatar Sports Group have owned PSG as well since 2012, 2011 or 2012, where they have won multiple titles. And before that, PSG hadn't, you know, won anything in the last few years, and they are regular in Champions League, even though they haven't done that well in Champions League. But I mean, and certainly PSG fans aren't complaining, and PSG ultras as they are. I mean, like they might get angry at some of their players, but the kind of pampering, the kind of players that they have brought in are, I'm like, you drool over those players. You never dream of, that these players will be playing for you. Neymar, Kylian Mbappe, who was bought from AS Monaco. He was uh, he was of course um, almost he was a prodigy, and and yeah. So I mean, uh, that's what it was. Kylian Mbappe, Neymar, Messi, of course, who was bought on a free, and was almost paid the world by PSG. By PSG owners. Of course, that has now come to an end. Looks like, I mean, it's certainly been in the news that Kylian Mbappe will be leaving PSG as well. He might go to Real Madrid, might come to Premier League. Who knows? Might come to Manchester United even, and certainly the Qatari link is there between Manchester United and PSG. And if not PSG, then Qatar would certainly like um, Manchester United to have Kylian Mbappe, and and them to have Kylian Mbappe. They perhaps would sell Kylian Mbappe to Manchester United on the cheap. Maybe, who knows? He certainly has time. I mean, doesn't have time. He's got 1 year left on his contract. There is an option of extending it by another year, but he is by the reports say that he isn't going to extend his contract with the PSG. Uh, and PSG certainly don't want to let him go for free. And who else? Sergio Ramos was signed. Gianluigi Donnarumma was signed. So yep, I mean that's the quality of players that Manchester United can expect. far cry from Scott McTominay and Fred in the midfield, and signing players like Christian Eriksen. I'm not saying anything wrong. There's anything wrong with signing players like Christian Eriksen, but Manchester United can certainly aim high now, higher, and they've been linked with Mason Mount, Kim Min Jae of Napoli as a central defender, and who knows, they might also go for Victor Osimhen from Napoli as well. So I mean, like, I perhaps am getting a bit ahead of myself with all the all the permutations and combinations that apply to this impending takeover. Let's call it, because certainly there are still a lot of things to iron out. It's not going to happen. I mean, like, uh, as I said, it's still being negotiated between Manchester United and the Qatari side of things, the Qatari buyers, and certainly looks like Jim Ratcliffe is out of the picture for now. And yeah, so two pieces of news where Manchester United sale looks like it will go ahead. One is that uh, one is that 9-2 Holdings, which is in which Sir Sheikh Jassim bin Hamad Al Thani is a director, has been registered in United Kingdom. The address is of London, and they have been registered, so it could be used as a vehicle for the takeover. And then again, there is Reuters are reporting once again, just saying that Reuters are no mugs. The Reuters are reporting that so the Reuters are reporting that negotiating that Sheikh Jassim Al Hamad Al Thani is negotiating exclusivity. So in that period, it looks like you can only negotiate with that one party. So it looks like that Qatar have won the race for Manchester United, and they'll be buying the the biggest club in the world, that is Manchester United. And yeah, so but I mean, like, it looks like that Manchester United will be bought by Qatar Group. They are they appear as if they are the front runners. So um, the light for Manchester United fans, and they can now go out and spend money. So I mean, um, and just on an ending note, I think most of the fans, Manchester United fans, would have wanted Qatar as well. There are some who might have wanted Sir Jim Ratcliffe. I mean, like, 100% of the fans would have wanted the Glazers out of their club, and because of Qatar's human rights record, and there was some friction during the World Cup as well. So there 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 might have been a slight divide in fans that whether we should like go with Sir Jim Ratcliffe or with Sheikh Jassim of Qatar. But yeah, once again, just saying that it isn't always cut and dried like that. Once exclusivity is granted, it is fairly certain where the where the bend is in terms of sale, but it's never a guarantee that sale will definitely take place. And so yeah, that's just what I wanted to say. And of course, with with Qatar, it will be a clean break from Glazers. They um, they're out of the picture. Sheikh Jassim will take hold of the club for $6 billion, and then we'll see how far or where Manchester United go. Of course, they haven't won the Premier League for 10 years, and next year it will be 11 years. So so I mean, if it happens, then congratulations to Manchester United fans, and it does appear it will happen. So so that's what I'm saying. And just before I go, just to reiterate those two pieces of news. One is 9-2 holdings, where Sheikh Jassim bin Hamad Al Thani is. I think they will sign Vivek, good players, better players. Mason Mount is one. Kim Min Jae, they might sign. Victor Osimhen. They might also sign a new goalkeeper as well. A goalkeeper that can, you know, play out from the back, who is a good shot stopper as well. David De Gea has made a lot of mistakes this season, which could have cost Manchester United the chance of qualifying from the Premier League, but they did qualify. And yeah, of course, the transfer budget would, I think, definitely increase. I don't think we can comprehend how much it will increase, but we can say with fair amount of certainty that it will increase by quite a quite a substantial amount. And because we have seen with Qatar, with PSG, they do, they do like to sign some key players like Neymar, Messi. So maybe, who knows, Kylian Mbappe to Manchester United. Maybe not. Maybe, you never know. So just to come back to that point, and yeah, so 9-2 holdings have been registered. The company has been registered in UK, which can be used as a vehicle for the Manchester United takeover. I think that will be high signing. Harry Kane will be tough for Manchester United. I don't think Daniel Levy will sell to a Premier League club. Uh, Maybe next season it's possible, but if Manchester United have money and they can pay over the odds for Harry Kane, then of course you can never rule out the possibility of Harry Kane in a Manchester United shirt. So there is a possibility, but I think it's a distinct possibility. The probability is low, and because this takeover, yes, chances are that it will go ahead, because but the transaction is so big, it will take a lot of time for it to happen. So can it happen before August? There is still due diligence to be done. There is still Premier League's fit and proper person test to be done. So these things could take a while, and and it's tough to say, but certainly I wouldn't rule it out that the takeover, sorry, Harry Kane moves to Manchester United, and if presented with a good enough offer, then maybe Daniel Levy, the Tottenham Hotspur chairman, will accept, and you never know. So coming back to the other news, that Reuters are reporting, and Reuters are, you know they are not mugs. They don't publish news just for the sake of it. They are reporting that Manchester United are talking with the Qatari group, and regarding the exclusivity around the Manchester United takeover. So once it happens, the two parties will talk to each other and only each other. So that's something to for that's something for Manchester United to get, Manchester United fans to get excited about. Whether it happens, it may. It may not, but there are good chances that it will happen. So, guys, thank you for watching. If you watch later, please do consider liking it, sharing it, and subscribing it. And we'll we'll see. So, just before I go, I think Mount will definitely happen, and then Kane. There's a 25% chance that it will happen, but very little chance, I think, that Harry Kane signs for Manchester United. So, guys, do click like, and I'll see you in my next video. Until then, take care, stay safe, bye.